I do a lot of research. Hi, Jeff.
Hello. How are you?
You on the day, Carl? Put your on underwear on, Carl. No dollar? Put your on underwear on,
Don's not gonna grace us today.
How's his daughter doing?
Nope.
Nope.
I hadn't heard much about
I
that.
didn't know if
I
there was
texted him last night, said he's back in hospital for 2 or 3 days. Something else out of the apartment or something. Put that old.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you all please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome you all to the October regular meeting of the Edgar County Board. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Good morning, I certainly will. Farnham.
Here.
Lorenzen.
Here.
Luddington. Patrick.
Here.
Bruner.
Here.
Chittick.
Here.
And Voigt.
Here. Next item of business this morning is to deal with the September 13th regular board meeting and the September 25th special board meeting. You've had that in your packet. I would entertain a motion to approve both the regular meeting and the special meeting in September.
So,
Derek moves. And Andy seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Next, we have the claims for the county. You've had those. Are there any questions on the claims against the county? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve those claims.
so moved.
Dan moves.
Second.
Derek seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They do carry. Okay, county board member claims is the next item up. You've had those. Are there any questions on those? I would entertain a motion therefore to approve those claims.
So moved.
Derek moves, Andy seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you, gentlemen. They are carried. Next, we move into the public comment portion of the meeting. We ask that whoever would like to address the board would, we have a 5-minute duration set on those comments, so I would open it up to anybody who would like to address the board. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the regular business, the highway resolutions. The first resolution is a revised improvement BLR 09110 appropriating motor fuel tax for the following, and that would be the CH31 Prairie's Edge EDP project. Do you want to briefly sew these together, or how you would like to do so we can let everybody know what we're doing?
I'll do the first two together, then the 9110s are, the first one's for Prairie's Edge, the second one's for the Horse Box. Prairie's Edge project is 3 or 4 years old. In the description of work, it talks about day labor and things that have since changed, and also the original resolution set up around $250,000 to be spent as motor fuel tax. We've increased that to $375, I believe, and we talked about money. The reason for that is we're going to use the motor fuel tax as our clearinghouse for our $120,000 worth of construction engineering costs. Any questions?
All right. Any questions on the first resolution then? I'd entertain a motion to approve that resolution then. Okay, Derek moves
Second.
and John seconds. Any further discussion on that resolution? Hearing none, would you please call the roll, Mr. Clerk?
Farnum.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
And Chick.
Yes.
All right, next you've heard the description of number 2, which is the resolution of revised improvement for BLR 09110, appropriating motor fuel tax funds for the following: CH8 Horace Brockton box. Is there a motion to approve that resolution? Dan moves. Andy seconds. Okay, discussions then, please. Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Farnum.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
That is approved. Next one is a resolution appropriating funds for the payment of the county engineer's salary. It's housekeeping. The engineer explained that to us on Tuesday morning. Are there any further questions on that issue?
With no bonus, right?
Yes, Dan.
With the bonus.
Well, since Lloyd's not here to say it, you'll owe us once it passes.
Hoping Dan will either move or second.
Hearing no worthy discussion, no. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? Dan moves.
Second.
Andy seconds. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Farnum.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
All right, that is approved. Resolution, or number 4, resolution authorizing the county board chairman to sign BLR 05320, the Economic Program Agreement Amendment 2 for CH33. Do you want to comment on that just
Yeah,
briefly?
4 and 5 are together.
Okay, 4 and 5.
Yeah, four, you'll pass an amendment to spend another $10,000, which is half of the power pole move. And then 5, you'll authorize Jeff to enter an agreement with Ameren to move the poles.
Okay,
4, you're asking, it's $20,000 roughly to move some poles. And then 4, you're asking EDP to pick up half that. And then
And-
number 5, you're gonna authorize Jeff to sign an agreement with Ameren to get started.
and this is a totally separate project from the one that we have discussed before.
I'm sorry?
Prairie Edge.
There's,
Yeah.
it's, I just didn't want anybody to be confused that we were signing a road use agreement with Ameren
Oh,
or
no, it's
anything.
not good then, right?
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
this is Ameren on Prairie's Edge project,
Just
to move a service line, yes.
Being extra. All right, do we have a motion to approve the first resolution?
So moved.
Derek moved,
Second.
John seconds. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Farnum.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
It is passed, thank you. Finally, the next resolution, authorizing the county board chairman to sign an agreement with Ameren to relocate single-phase power utility to the other side of road CH33. Motion to approve this resolution. Andy?
Second.
Dan? Assume you're ready to vote. Mr. Clerk?
Farnum.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
It does carry. Items 9 and 10 were on here and should be omitted. They were placed on here by accident. They have already occurred.
Wait a second.
Mine's on there.
Okay, I stand corrected. It's 10. 9 we need to do,
All right,
and 10 we need to take off.
okay.
I'm sorry,
Then it's,
because we did it last month.
okay. So we are going to do 9. Resolution appointing Mark R. Baxter, Commissioner, Hughes Drainage District by mutual agreement of the town of Shiloh, County of Edgar, and the state of Illinois. Can we have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Derek moves.
Second.
John seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. Mr. Clerk?
Farnum.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
And Chick.
Yes.
Okay, 10 is gone. Item 11, authorize chairman to execute deed of conveyance for the following. Certificate 130100, parcel 091812251008 to the city of Paris.
Does anybody know what that is?
Well, Dean is getting ready to tell us where that address is.
Well, if I had gotten my agenda, I could have.
Snap.
Oh,
I believe it's,
I don't know, 1812 tells me it's in the south end of town.
yeah, I think it's a piece of abandoned property.
Oh, okay.
It's,
We got a
yeah,
lot of those though.
yeah.
It's not your farm, Carl. That was humor also, Dan. Okay, that was worthless humor. All right.
We can find out and I can get back to you on it, but I think I glanced at it.
was.
Yeah.
Understand what
You
it
can be
is.
confident Dan feeds at least 3 cats at that location.
Can I have a motion to approve this conveyance? Derek and Andy. Mr. Clerk?
Farnum,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Chittick.
Yes,
Next, resolution authorizing treasurer to transfer $15,000 from the circuit clerk's document storage fee fund to the general fund of the county. This is annual housekeeping that makes up for some of the expenditures the county pays for, and the circuit clerk is going to repay those budget items. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Dan?
Second.
Derek seconds. Any further discussion?
So.
All those, sorry, it's a resolution. Mr. Clerk?
Farnum,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Chittick.
yes,
Okay, the next item is to approve Doherty and Parks Management Consulting to perform the 17 audit. I'd like to remind you that we originally had talked about having this bid out, but because of the nature of some of the hurdles that the state comptroller's office is putting us through as far as audit this year and possibly changing us to an accrual basis, we're recommending that this be approved rather than starting new with somebody else, or he's familiar with us, the firm's familiar with it, just makes sense. And then next year, once we get it all straightened out, then we'll bid it. It just seemed prudent, guys.
Say an accrual basis?
Possibly, yes.
Meaning what? I mean, I know what accrual.
Well,
is.
I mean, like, at the end of the year, instead of the bills for December going in December, in other words, everything that we accrue in November would be paid or counted as on this fiscal year instead of next fiscal year. That's the best way I could put it. In other words, everything would be up to date. In other words, if we have used power, for example, or used gasoline, that would, in November, whatever those bills were would be accrued in November instead of paid in December and then counted in as December. Okay? So we go off a cash basis and go on to an accrual.
So is that a
Conversely,
good thing or a bad thing as far as?
Yeah.
Bad.
it'll look ugly for 1 year.
yes.
Then what's that?
In other words, basically, we're gonna have 13 months instead of 12
When does that go into effect?
right away. Well, we don't know for sure. There's
But
still,
possibly, so it could
possibly.
really mess the budget up.
that's what and remember, when I gave you that figure yesterday, I already adjusted a bunch out for that. So,
Okay.
for example, the health insurance bill, we pay ahead.
Right.
So the health insurance bill wouldn't count,
Mhm.
okay? But a lot of other bills will, Carl.
Wow.
And conversely, if Dan owed us treatment for, I don't know, $150, and we haven't collected it yet, we'd have that income would also be accrued for this year, even though we hadn't collected it. So, at any rate,
If I pay it.
it's, that's why we would rather not switch horses in midstream here, and then next year we can bid that out. Dan?
Is it proper to ask what we pay to have the audit done?
Certainly it's
$30,000.
proper. Certainly it's proper.
I just
Hang on a
think
second.
you might realize how much it costs.
It just happened to have that.
Okay, yeah. I think it's 30.
Oh, it is.
It's not to exceed 37 something. Here it is.
37.9 is what it cost us last year.
They eventually might help us to actually bid it out, right?
Oh, absolutely. And we were looking forward
I knew we
at
were.
this point
Right.
for things to get a little better because we didn't have any federal grants that had to be done differently, and that was extra. So we were looking forward to a lower bid, so. With all this change, he's not gonna, he'll bill us what he need, what he does. So, could I have a motion to approve Doherty and Parks so I could sign that contract?
So moved.
Derek moves, Andy seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right. Don will not be here today, so he asked me to entertain you. You've got the current fund balances. He has, for distribution in the general fund, $240,000 to put in by the end of the week. We have received only this month the sales tax and personal property tax replacement so far. None of the others have been done. No fees yet from county and circuit clerk. Line of credit has been paid off. Last year we had received 781 by meeting from the property tax, and this year showing the current fund balance at 997. We've only received 601. Additionally, he is holding about $60,000 from Clark County that he described to you last month, and we'll be depositing that. And we have other funds that have not caught it. Anyway, it does. If you look at that and subtract off well over $350,000, that puts us well in the range, or actually a better range than where we were, or closer to what we were the prior year. Okay, and well ahead of last month. Did I do that? I know Don does a better job of that. But that's what we got. Any questions about that?
I have a question.
Yes.
What was the first thing, the 240,000?
That's in property tax going into the general fund.
Okay, thank you.
And that will be the second to the last check. We will receive another check in November.
Thank you.
Okay? All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Dina?
Not much new, the same old, still working along on Paris. And it seems like it's taking longer and multiple reasons. One, we're trying to readjust after 4 years what kind of things are selling, what they're selling for. We're also looking at Jasper Street really hard with the explosion of sales that happened, especially East Jasper. We've seen very high prices being paid for land, so we're taking a hard look at that. Also, we have a taxpayer that has filed at the state level property tax appeal board, so we are gathering evidence and preparing for that, so. Plugging along.
Any questions at this point of Dina? Angie?
I don't have anything today.
Okay. Sheriff?
Everything's about the same, except we have received a $25,000 USDA grant from the state toward the purchase of a new vehicle, so as soon as we get the paperwork done for that, we can start looking at some new squad cars.
Very good, Sheriff. Any questions of the sheriff, gentlemen?
That replaced the one that was in the accident, or the insurance replaced it.
Well, I believe, Sheriff, we have a couple of checks for vehicles,
For vehicles.
plus the new vehicle, and the grant will allow us to replace or buy a new car and replace another one, or replace, I don't know how it goes, but yeah, we'll have net 2 new cars out of that deal.
What's the one from last year from the K-9 grant, right?
What's that?
Yeah, from the
From was it
Buffett
last year?
Fund. Buffett.
Yeah, I can't remember which son it was.
Right.
It's on 2 years now for that too. So.
Yep. Yes. Hi, Mary Lou.
How are you?
The fairgrounds looks good.
Thank you.
Hope you had a good year, and honeybee looked good, and so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Janet?
Not much really. We've got flu vaccine available, given flu shots, but other than that, nothing really new.
Okay, any questions of Janet?
I have a question for the sheriff.
I'm sorry.
I know yesterday we were talking about 90 days we had to get that vehicle. Did we determine
I don't,
when
we don't have to get it 90 days, we just gotta, we got some paperwork we've gotta fill out, I've gotta have some,
when's the end of the 90, I mean, when did it start the 90 days? We don't want to miss that.
2 weeks ago.
Okay, so you got 2.5 months.
But after the last study session, yeah, it was, wasn't it? 'Cause she was there at 11 o'clock.
Right.
So if we get the paperwork done this month, we'll be all right, and get sent in, we'll be all right. Okay. I just didn't want to miss that
I
deadline.
had to get, they've got a list of stuff we've gotta have, the state's attorney has to fill out a form, Andy got a couple things, I had to have like 6 bids. I got 3 over at that company last week, and I get some more, so.
Okay.
But yeah, got the ball rolling. So.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Ernie, it's nice to have you here.
I just came in to listen.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to. I just want to recognize
It's
you
dry and
here.
warm in here.
Yeah, right.
Ain't much action going on in here.
Well, you missed it a couple of years ago. All right, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. A couple things. First of all, this is annually in October, we recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The obvious signal or symbol of that is wearing pink. So,
Would have been nice if you let us know.
well,
I appreciate that that note was written on.
I
paper as
found,
well.
well, I got pink
Well
paper
done.
here.
Put on the agenda.
Well, boy, I can't win today, that's for sure.
And it wouldn't have mattered because Janet didn't get her agenda.
That's enough, Mr. Chairman. Also, I want to follow up from yesterday on health insurance. We've talked about trying to move our plan to a calendar year, and by doing so, going from October 1st to January 1st is going to require some additional underwriting, and that may or may not result in a higher premium. If we decide to go forward with that, there's no turning back. So if we sign off on it and the premium, for example, were to go up significantly, then we're stuck with it. So
What was Kirk's gut instinct?
Kirk's gut instinct was he was going to talk to the underwriter and get that person's gut instinct.
Okay.
And he's then going to call me back just as soon as he can because they need the paperwork to get things rolling,
Right.
assuming that we don't move forward with a calendar year and we go back with October 1st. So just as soon as I find out, I will let you gentlemen know. Any thoughts or comments with that?
I'm just thinking through that, if there was a pretty strong probability that it would raise premiums, I think at this point, I would be inclined to say, we want to do that next year and have them bid it at that point for the full term, as opposed to trying to reset everything. I'd say I'm on board if it costs a little bit more to get that changed over, but I don't want to completely upset the apple cart this year to try to do that.
Yeah, if we can wait 1 year
Yeah.
and have a guarantee rather than,
Something we want to do, it's just I don't want to, at this point, maybe mess that up. But like I said, if the underwriter thinks it's a strong probability that we won't raise premiums, then I'd be for going ahead with it.
I'll let you all know when I find something out immediately. US Imaging is the company that performed the scanning of all of our deed books. That project, the scanning phase is over with, and now they're just coordinating the images with our recording vendor, which is Fiddler. So that's still, those two programs have to intertwine and talk to each other. So that is, that's in the works. Hopefully that'll be done soon. Basement doors. There's an opener downstairs and it works. However,
What's his name?
there was somewhere along the line, and I don't know, but there was a miscommunication. We wired up for 2 doors, but they only sent one opener instead of 2. And so I'm playing phone tag with the company over in Terre Haute. We're all set to go. It's just a matter of getting another opener. And off the top of my head, I don't know what that is, but it can't be much. Because 1 opener, 2 buttons, labor, all that was $2,700. So you figure, I don't know, the wiring's all done and it's just ready to go in. So, but right now we are handicap accessible through the doorways in the basement. So, question on that for me? Let's see, what else have I got? Oh, yeah, Dawn is gonna have a tax sale this month, and it's gonna be October the 26th. Tax sale, October 26th in this courtroom.
And I think everybody needs to, if they have not paid their taxes, they need to pay them by 4 o'clock on Thursday, or they wind up on the, published in the paper.
Yes.
Yes, Dan?
Maybe a stupid question, but that property over on Wood Street, would that be up for a tax sale this year? The one that's fallen down with a tree on top and all that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have somebody that has asked me about it because they're
Yeah.
interested in buying the property.
And that's Dawn's
Okay.
deal, but I don't know
They
this.
said 2018 was when it.
Yeah, I thought there was one more year on that
Okay.
one that I,
Maybe,
top of my
I
head.
could, yeah,
You
maybe.
can always check with Tom. He's over there, they're just,
Somebody asked me about it, that's the reason why I was asking.
Yeah, it would be nice if,
Yeah, I wouldn't have to mow it then.
maybe that's the property that we talked about earlier today. We can just deed that, why don't we just deed it to the city of Paris?
I know.
No, no. I'll find out.
Okay,
I'll
thank
find
you.
out, let you know.
Okay.
Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
did you want to review, the, election, anything on the election, just to make sure that everybody knows that petitions are currently being circulated and so forth?
Petitions are currently being circulated for next March primary. They're available for pickup. The first day to file petition would be March the 20th.
No.
Or not March, November 27th.
I found out the hard.
And the last day is Monday, December the 4th, 5 o'clock in our office.
Yeah, took mine in early, so you can accept it.
Yeah, somebody already tried to file their petition a little early, and we can't accept that.
All right.
Dan?
Yeah.
Any other questions of our clerk?
Did we get the correct paperwork taken care of?
As a matter of fact, we do.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be signed after the meeting. Yes, we've got the paperwork.
We'll have a check, and then we'll put that money into the general fund, and then we will transfer it to, however, we'll take a look at expenses and transfer, like we talked about, if the board still wants to pay pay it into the bond issue fund, okay?
We did the final walkthrough yesterday, and I gave you the key I had, so. The
Oh, I
key that
got
you
a
had
key.
is now.
I'll also have a key I'll drop off.
Well, it won't matter. You
I'll change the locks,
Yeah,
okay, all right,
your cats.
okay, can't get in. Okay,
They're changed the lock today.
Yeah, we got
There's several
a
keys
message
out.
from the state's attorney yesterday during our meeting and said that they would do the paperwork right now, or after this meeting, okay? Okay, gentlemen, are you done?
I think I'm done, yes.
Okay. Dan, do you have anything?
not much, we had an animal meeting this week, or this month, and, we have a private donor for dog food for about half of next year, so. And then we're gonna ask for donations the rest of the year. We do have some money in the budget, but it wouldn't cover the whole year. So we do have a private donor for half the year.
Okay,
And we have some construction going on that's gonna increase the capacity for some of the animals. So going well.
thank you, Dan. Andy?
About the only thing I got is, I mentioned Monday that the engineering firm came down last Monday and did the survey of, took a lot of pictures, looked at a lot of the structure, and are gonna come up with a kind of a comprehensive ABC of what needs to be done in what order, how, with some engineers' estimates. And so we're just kind of waiting, once they put all that information together, kind of combine it with the report that was done when they did the bell tower, and put together a comprehensive repair, what needs to be done to the courthouse building exterior, so. As soon as we
And
get
a
it.
cost estimate.
And cost estimates, what we can expect to pay on each one, so I think that'll be real helpful to know where we are.
Progress.
I'm working on the clock. I'm working with the company, I'm working with the company out of Ohio. And I've gotten a hold of a McAllister equipment company. That's who brought the lift for the last one. Asked them what the biggest lift they've got is, because the last one wouldn't reach. We tried and couldn't get to the clock, so he's gonna meet me sometime the next week or so, and we'll get together and see. I guess they've got some kind of calculation they can maybe tell you whether the next biggest lift that or the biggest lift that they got, whether that'll reach the clock or not. So just take it one step at a time. And it's quite a bit bigger than the last one, but then again, my concern is that's a lot of weight.
So,
So
I thought last time we talked, it was the clock issue was actually gearing in the main, potentially, that was the
That's-
primary culprit.
yes.
And so, when you talk to the company out of Ohio, is that the one that had they're the gear people?
Yep.
Gearheads, as it were?
He told me, and he's kind of explained, I'm gonna grab Bob, and he and I are gonna go out and look at this. He thinks it's a roll pin
That's a valve.
that's broke off in one, and that's what causes the clock hands not to work. And it's relatively easy to take apart. I mean, he and I took videos and pictures and sent them all to him, and he said, really, he explained the process to go through to check to see if it's, that he and another guy that work on these all the time, he said, it appears to me it's just a roll pin that's come out. So I can get that, I think we can get that clock working again, if that's all it is.
Andy had it working for like 20 minutes.
Huh?
I said Andy had it working for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we did. Hey, clock's working now. But
You know, it drops down, it won't.
but I think
Back up.
we were up there rolling that, taking the videos.
Yeah.
I suppose it was spinning around.
That's where, you used to spend most of your time up there?
We could hire someone to.
Yeah,
Every day
Yeah,
you're
that-
coming up there, and they'll have 20 minutes accuracy.
So,
That's a good idea.
is there other things that need to be fixed on the exterior,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
counterweights or something, right?
Yeah,
Is that?
there's counterweights on all those hands. Bob came out and goes, hey, this look familiar? And I said, no. He goes, it's counterweight off of one of the clock hands. And the guy, that's why I'm looking to get in the lift.
I was just, yeah, okay.
And I said,
Can't do that by road.
you can do that. You wanna do that?
I'll do it.
Will you?
You keep talking, I wanna see it, let's make it happen.
Getting the installation
I'll get
done,
the videotape.
as we're going in.
I haven't heard anything about that all summer.
Hey, guys, maybe Ernie's gonna take a look at it.
How big of a lift do you have, Ernie?
Not to reach at.
Well, if you're looking at a lift, shouldn't we wait and get the report back and see, I mean, if we've got some serious roof work coming up in the near future,
Do both things.
then we have, yeah, I mean, no use bringing the lift in twice.
You'll repel off the thing and just screw that hand back.
Alright, we vote on that, we vote on John just repelling.
I'm ready to vote.
I have a feeling the roof is not, something we're gonna be doing in the near future.
Yeah.
That's a major project.
I said, well, what, I assume that's a lot harder on the gears not having that counterweight. And he said, yeah, he goes, you wanna get that fixed before winter. He says, I don't know whether the winter time, maybe the elements, get an ice storm or something. And
Under the assumption that the clock is working, or it doesn't matter.
And that's not, the one that blew off isn't the one that's not working. It's off of another one.
Nice.
This company, I guess they don't store the clock tower now. We have multiple faces that aren't.
No, 3 of them work, but one of them doesn't have a counterweight on it.
Still works.
I thought it was just another
One-
time zone, that's what, yeah, okay. That was pretty high speed.
That's a cheap fix.
Okay.
Anything else, Andy?
No,
Okay. John, do you have anything, sir?
Yep.
Carl, do you have anything you would like to talk about?
As far as the union, we met with both unions on negotiations over the last couple of weeks. A week or two ago, we met with the deputies, and we had discussions back and forth, and we've got our side of things and their side of things, and they were gonna discuss it and get back with us whether they felt like there was any way we can make any movement or whether we need to go to mediation. Yesterday, we met with jailers and dispatchers, and we both agreed that at this point, we need to go to mediation, that we're apart, that we need to have some, they feel like we need to have someone come in and give us a different perspective and look at things and see where we go. So they're starting the process of the mediation, the jailers and dispatchers, and we're waiting to hear back for the deputies. on
They hired a mediator, or do
It's free of charge.
Okay.
It's a federal mediator,
we? Okay.
and they normally come out of Indianapolis. That's who we've had in the past, and they file paperwork, and the process has already started.
Okay.
So in the next, hopefully, few weeks, we can get a meeting set up to get together and talk and see where we go from here. But I anticipate we'll be at the same position with the deputies also.
So maybe eventually arbitration, is that a possibility?
one step at a time.
Yeah. Try the mediation. If that doesn't work, we can go to binding arbitration. And Jeff has contacted someone to help maybe
You
represent
got that
us.
number there.
Yeah, might help too.
Help
Thank you, Jeff.
represent us, since they've got attorneys and
Oh, yeah,
so,
been there, done that.
yeah. That's it.
Derek?
The airport days was a success from all reports I received. I was there for an hour or two, kind of in the middle of it, and I talked to Joe and Tom at that time. They were both surprised by the number of people who have been out there, so the hot dogs were delicious. I confirm that.
They had a snap to them, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about going to Champaign and scoring some of those.
You have to pay for it?
I didn't pay for them. Free will donation was for
okay.
the hot dogs to eat them.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a win. I sent a text to Tom this morning. I have yet to hear if we've received our second bid. There was some questions from the bidder in regards to some federal paperwork. We got an answer for them. They were happy with that. It's apparently en route. We just have yet to see it. So once that's done, we'll reach back to Springfield, make sure that we're good and good. At that point, we will basically take one of the bids and go with the repair of our beacon light and the two warning lights, I think they're called.
Landing lights.
No, they're actually lights on the beacon, so you can see it at night, which
Yeah.
seems a tad redundant to me.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you can't see the beacon, you probably shouldn't be flying.
Good point.
I'm not a pilot, so. Anyway, that's all I got.
We do have a meeting in Department of Transportation on the 18th.
Oh, yes, I got it on my calendar.
Okay.
And I think, don't quote me, but I think Tom told me that it's around $650 they raised for the Compassionate Food Pantry from the donations on the food that they donated to them.
The car show was great. I
Yeah, I think he said
participated
there was
in that.
50-some cars in the car show. They were given, they gave several rides, Browns did. They were,
It was very nice. Well done. All right, we talked about the budget, and we did as it relates to negotiations and everything else, and we have some ideas. I'll try to crank out a revised budget in the next couple of days. I'll make sure that Augie has it and it gets sent out to you, and Carl, it'll be mailed to you. I'll try to note on it what we've changed and so forth, so that you can see if you have any additional ideas. We have found and been successful in reducing that proposed deficit down pretty successfully, so we'll go from there, okay? Do you have anything you want to discuss or add to it today? Okay, we are, just so you'll know, Don and I met this morning. He has a lot of work, so he was unable to be here, but the sales tax has dropped off substantially. And he is going to look into that and see where that's at. Last year at this time, we had received, sorry, I'm not prepared here, we had received $99,000 in sales tax money, and this year we've received $63,000. So that's quite a, and with the economy getting better, we don't know whether there's an error, whether we've missed something. We haven't had any communications that saying that something was gonna do this, something was gonna do that, so I don't know.
We're receiving the money,
We're just,
but not as much.
yeah, and, you know, and it's all based on a certain share of the tax money that's collected in your county's boundaries. And
So we've got last year's, what was the year prior and the year prior?
I
mean,
don't
it was
have
last
that
year
with me.
an
I just
anomaly.
looked at last year. So,
I know there was a spike in new car sales last year, you know. that
well, it was
reflected-
even higher the year before,
Really?
yes. Yeah, we've been doing this number, and then we were starting to grow, and then we dropped back off again. So,
It's pretty substantial percentage.
yeah, it's worth asking the questions about. Yes,
How about the
Dan?
1% increase, does that go into this, or
No,
go into different
no,
funds?
that's collected totally separately, and the state collects that, or that all goes in, and then it's redistributed by the Department of Revenue straight to, based on the formula,
Okay.
to the school districts, okay?
Oh, the school district, right?
Right.
Okay.
The other thing we need to look at, and at least explore, and we've talked about it, is the safety tax. And we are starting to look into that, talk to a few people. Andy, you might, I don't know whether you want to help me do that, but I'd sure appreciate some help. I think it'd be, and Sheriff, we need to meet with a few people here in the next few weeks to see what the lay of the land looks like for that safety tax. We're looking into what 1%, 3/4, half, quarter, you know, so forth, looks like. Yeah, we've gotta have some idea of what we're looking at and go from there, okay? Unless you folks aren't interested in it. I mean, I just,
I think it'd be hard to,
oh,
I suppose,
It's not gonna be easy to.
no,
but it'd gotta be worth working.
we need to explore it at any rate.
Right.
And,
Not
I'll
a
be
percentage
talking to you
tax.
too, Derek, but I know you're, got your feet in the water on a lot of other things, so, okay? But, we need to make some contacts and we need to develop a case,
Yeah.
okay? So, it's not anything that anybody is delighted to do, but it's the reality of the situation, okay? Do you have any questions of me right now, at this point? I'll get that out to you. I'd like to note that Ludd is not here
I talked to
today.
him last night.
Do you have anything, I mean,
No,
without giving away, I mean,
He
he's
stayed
got
back in the
privacy.
hospital for 3 or 4 days. He didn't really elaborate on why it's Indianapolis.
Well, I'm
I'll
sure he
keep
would
in contact
appreciate
and let you know.
our prayers,
Right.
okay?
Right.
All right. Do we need, is there a need for a closed session today?
I just asked that question yesterday, but it's not that
We can
important.
get that answered.
Yeah, we'll get that.
I'll get it answered for you today.
Okay, thanks.
Is that all right, Dan?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right, being no further business to come before the board during our regular meeting, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Derek moves,
Second.
Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
See what you've been missing all these years?
Surveyors, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I met him in the morning,